CTWE wrestler, The Mac.
And I'm Showtime Stevie Stamos.
Have you ever dreamed of owning your own race car and taking it out for a test drive? Well, thanks to our friends at Rent a Race Car, you can!
Visit www.rentaracecarne.com for all the details on how you can take one of these babies out to Stafford Motor Speedway. We'll see you at the races.
Touchdown!
It is indeed a Thursday night, and you would know what that means, folks. It's NEPs Night in America, baby. Vidane TV bringing you live coverage of the U-House Racing Design Showdown here at Bristol Motor Speedway, and as always, we are doing it live. Showtime, Paul Strickland Jr. down here in the production shed, joined by me, Aaron Creed up in the booth after a couple of weeks hiatus. Aaron, we are getting ready to do some racing here, just getting wrapped up with qualifying. How we feeling tonight, brother?
Oh, it's good to be back for the home stretch of this NEP season. I believe we only have about 4 more races to go, and tonight we're at Bristol Motor Speedway for the first time, and these high banks are going to create some action, and it's going to be a pretty short race once again, 100 laps. It's going to go by like that.
Picking them up and putting them down, and just like that, we're towards the end of the season. John Peters, the champ, the reigning and defending NEP Shift Marketing Design Grand National Series champion, has a little bit of a point cushion, about 51 points, give or take a couple of points in there. That's almost a race and a half here in the NEP schedule, but to make the NEPs Racing Series points battle a little bit more interesting, Ryan Salvatore from RSal TV, he's adjusting the Net Bets challenge just a little bit. He made a challenge to John Peters. He accepted it after last week's race to take an EOL for the last 5 races. And courtesy of RSal TV, Ryan Salvatore, our stat man here at Vidane TV for NEPs, for every single podium that John Peters finishes or receives or earns after starting in the back, he'll donate $50 to GNG's gift and $100 for each one of those wins, and that's going to make things very, very spicy here in the last four weeks for sure.
Oh, absolutely, and we can see in qualifying he did. He only qualified 8th, but it's not going to matter just based on what you explained. But some good qualifying runs. I believe we're pretty much done with qualifying here, just about. But as you can see, one of the drivers to watch is certainly going to be Kenny Kibbe, who some more stats that Sal shared with us. Kibbe's got the most points scored on short tracks so far this season. And then Zane Farrell has the best average finish among drivers on the short tracks. So, and Zane's one of those drivers that's going to try to catch up a little to John Peters. Also, Evan Ballou, he's a short track winner this year. I believe it was at South Boston. So, a lot of drivers that are going to be we're going to be watching here as we get ready to go here very almost momentarily.
100%. And speaking of Evan Bollier, still got that sticky note right here. It's right on the U-House Racing Designs button box, which you need to go pick up if you're out there watching on Vidane TV. Evan Bollier, Brent Roy, the only 2 drivers in the season so far that have completed 100% of the laps thus far. That's 1,206 laps that they have made, finishing all of the races, all of the laps on the lead lap. And that is definitely a feat to behold, especially when you're doing a little short track racing on a Thursday night. But just getting wrapped up here with qualifying. 25 drivers taking time. Looks like Jason Rick are going to be out on front, the preliminary poll so far, with Kenny Kibbe there on the outside. Right now it looks like Jeffrey Brown going to start shotgun on the field back there with John Peters, who's taking that the new NEPs Bets challenge. And we made mention for every podium that he receives, $50 goes to GNG's gift, and for every win that he gets, $100 goes over to GNG's gift, courtesy of RSal TV. Ryan Salvatore picking up and putting down a little bit of a challenge there for the champ John Peters.
Yeah, definitely. And now that we got some of those pointers out of the way and then some of those stats, I think we're just about ready to go racing in just a couple minutes. 100 laps, and it's going to be some fender-to-fender action here at the Bristol Motor Speedway. Don't really know quite what to expect since NEP hasn't been here before. But we're definitely in for a show here coming right up. Is there anything in particular you expect to see, Paul?
This is definitely going to be an intense race. We've seen these guys do battle on short tracks from all different parts of the world. Really, we even saw these guys on Twin Montegi out in Japan last season, which was really really cool. Zany does Japan 55, I believe, was the title sponsor for that. But it's going to be a battle. We always see great racing here at I almost said Stafford Motor Speedway. I'm so excited for a big announcement here a little bit later on in the show here at Bristol Motor Speedway with these Xfinity cars. It's a good track combo for these drivers to get down with, and you can hear everybody blaring those motors down on pit road. These guys are ready to rock and roll.
Yeah, here we go. We're getting ready to get on the pace lap. There's your starting grid. Jason Ricker, great qualifying run for him on the pole. Kenny Kibbe, he's been the guy to beat here on these short tracks, will start second. Stephen Daddio, Dale Glessner, they've both been contenders this year, as well as Evan Bollier and Ryan Messer. Kind of came into the NEP second half of the season and has shown some strong runs as well. A lot of good drivers here in this front part of the field, and once again, a reminder: John Peters is going to be going to the back of the field, even though he qualified in 8th.
Here you can see right on his inside, it's going to be Ryan Libby, Brandon Marhefka up there, Keith Lord rounding out the top 10. The Canadian Brent Roy starting in 11th. He's going to move up one spot to 10th. Devin Marhefka in 12th. There you see the rest of the starting grid. The stat man, Ryan Salvatore, Charles Lewandowski, Brandon Newhouse, Zane Farrell in the number 16 position, Magnum Mike Hopkins back there, Corey Casagrande, Mr. Corey Casagrande, coming off a new Smyrna. We'll talk about that a little bit later on. Dylan Kopech, Scott McDonald, DJ Gerard, Brian Ship, turn the page, one more again, Kyle Casagrande, Dan Winter, and Jeffrey Brown going to be the 25 drivers that round out the field here at Bristol Motor Speedway for the U-House Racing Design Showdown at Bristol. Excited for this. 100 laps on the board, 50 miles, getting ready to rock and roll. Lights are off on the iRacing pace truck. Everybody lined up 2 by 2, getting ready to roll here at Bristol.
Yeah, 1 to go, and it's going to be interesting to see if that second half of the field can make up some positions here. We'll see how easily it's going to be to pass on this particular speedway. Some of those guys that were down there in Florida last week, they kind of got caught sleeping there a little bit in qualifying, and someone like Zane Farrell starting in the second half of the field, we've seen him march through in the past, but we're about to go green with Ricker and Kibbe on the front row. Pace truck goes down, and here we go. The green flag's going to be in the air for 100 laps of action. We're underway.
And there you can see the 9 car of Ricker gets the whole shot that he needs. Kibbe's going to slide on in. He's not going to settle. He's going to go shoot down on that bottom side, try and take that pole position, or try and take that number 1 position, rather, coming out of turn number 4, but not quite enough steam just yet. He's going to have to settle for second right now. So Jason Ricker.
Yeah, he tried to pull that crossover, but it kind of looks like what we've seen at Bristol Motor Speedway in recent years, where that high line seems to be coming in a little bit better than running, towards the apron and on that lower groove. So, although Stephen Daddio's trying to make it work here in this battle for third with Dale Glessner, great battle going on here for that third spot. Evan Bollier is right there as well. Ryan Messer. Pretty much everyone's right around where they started near the front of the field. So it remains to be seen. Some of them kind of riding a little bit, and some of them probably marching through the field. I'm sure John Peters, I believe he's already worked his way into the top 20.
Yeah, how about that starting shotgun? He's already up to the 18th position. And that 09 car, bad fast on short tracks. There you see him in between Mike Hopkins and Dylan Kopech and trying to get around that 78 car for position. Working lap 5, still plenty of time to go here in the 100 lapper. 100 laps on the docket here at Bristol Motor Speedway for the U-House Racing Designs Showdown at Bristol. And man, oh man, the seems like everybody's kind of sorted out up front. Front 3 have kind of checked out just a little bit. Still side by side with Daddio and Bollier. Bollier tucks in the tire tracks of the 99 car for right now, but you can already see here, Aaron, these drivers are trying to kind of test out different lines throughout the racetrack. Top side, bottom side, even a couple of drivers like that 56 trying to figure out the middle side of the racetrack.
Yeah, that's what you certainly have to do in a race like this. I mean, 100 laps is pretty short, but it's still a decent amount of time where you can kind of test the waters in different spots and see what comes in and what works with your setup and everything. And we certainly see that right now. I don't want to jinx it, but we're clean so far, though. Everyone's kind of hanging out in single file for the most part now, and nobody's had any mishaps just yet. But what we're going to see is if it continues going green, we're going to perhaps see some lap traffic. They clock off some laps on a pretty quick pace here at Bristol Motor Speedway as they are bunching up here a little bit for the 5th spot. Messer right on the tail of the 56, and there's Ryan Libby. He's shown some strength this season as well, and he's looking to pick up a couple spots as well.
Do a quick check-in on the 09 car of John Peters back in 17th place, side by side. Well, he's going to tuck back in between Mr. Corey Casagrande and the 7 Connecticut car for the time being, but he's already up to 17, has passed a handful of cars already to try and get that car up towards the front. That's the championship leader, and there you can see it. You called it already. Little lap traffic. Jeff Brown in the 29 car going a lap down to our leader here, Jason Ricker in the number 9 car. Kenny Kibbe right on his coattails there, trying a little bit different line. You can see he's moving that 4 car a little bit further on down the bottom, and he's able to kind of drift on up to the outside wall, trying to make a little magic happen, trying to run where Ricker is not, to see if he can maybe gain a little bit of track position there.
And that's pretty much what you're probably going to have to do in order to make some clean passes here at Bristol is try, you can see trying to diamond the corner a little bit. And now we see a battle for 3rd once again as Daddio and Glessner, and here comes Bollier, and they nearly make contact there going for the 4th spot. And this really isn't a place as much as it's a short track kind of a tight quarters kind of a place. It's not really a place where you want to make contact and potentially spin out, because a place like Bristol, one car spins out and then the cars behind it do not have much time to react at a place like this when they're coming out of these high banked corners.
100%. Everything happens very quickly here at Bristol Motor Speedway. A little half-mile cereal bowl, so to speak. Heck, they even put dirt on it last year. Did a little dirt racing at Bristol, which was a lot of fun to watch. We might see these guys turn a little bit of dirt here in the quote-unquote off-season, which is usually during the real racing season. And that's why we were actually off last week in the NEPs land of internet racing, iRacing as it were. Had a lot of these drivers, a lot of these crew guys down in Florida, down at New Smyrna last week for the World Series of Asphalt Racing. A couple of drivers heading down to check out the Daytona 500 and all the beautiful, beautiful racing action that went down over the past week. But we're back to NEPs night in America. 4 races to go here in the season. We made mention John Peters. We'll check on him. Still back mired behind Mr. Corey Casagrande in the 7 Connecticut car. You see Jeffrey Brown struggling with the handling on that 29 car, but he's still chugging along, trying to hold on to it, hoping for a caution to get back on the lead lap. But a lot of these drivers down in Daytona, down in Florida last week, didn't quite have enough time to get some practice laps. They had a little bit more time with some of the drivers that were home and hanging out last week. Couple of exhibition races between the drivers as we see a battle for the lead. Kibbe trying to make it happen on the bottom side.
Yeah, Ricker nearly touched that outside wall that last time by, but he has a pretty smooth rhythm, and if he continues that, it's going to be really tough for Kibbe to get by. So it'll be interesting to see if Kibbe can find a way. And we saw further back, you saw Peters was struggling with trying to get by Corey Casagrande, and with how fast Peters showed he was in practice and qualifying, that just shows how hard it is to pass here at Bristol Motor Speedway as they both approach Salvatore here. Was local to the New Smyrna area, and I know popped over there a few times last week. And Corey, this is probably the longest green flag run Corey's experienced for a little while. Those Pro Late Mile races he was part of down at New Smyrna, some of them were a little bit rough and tumble, and he got a little piece of it on a couple occasions. So probably happy that he's staying out of trouble, but at the same time, as they continue trying to battle for position here, eventually those leaders are going to catch up, perhaps. Maybe they're still only about 6 seconds back from the leaders right now. But as the race goes on, if we continue under green, that margin might grow.
Looks like the 007 car of Corey Casagrande had a little bit of an issue. He's going to retire into the garage area here on lap 28. So that gives us 24 drivers on track, 23 on the lead lap, all being led by these two right now. These three, Steve Daddio trying to join this battle for the lead position, and Kenny Kibbe trying to make that bottom side work for him. Side by side, nose to nose there at the line. Give it a Ricker that lap, but Kibbe is there. He's trying to make the high side happen, and Daddio there trying to push the outside line, and we'll see what comes of this. A little three-way dance for the lead spot.
Yeah, this is pretty exciting right here. And Kibbe, I give a call to Kibbe for steadily working that way, and we got trouble on the track. Ryan Libby, who was running in the top 10, had some major issues with that number 46.
Yeah, we're going to have to pull up the U-House Racing Designs instant replay to pull up that one. I don't think Safe Flight does Lexan, so we might have to get a new windshield put in that number 46 car. But we'll take a peek and see what happened. Follow along. Look at the 46 car with Libby racing bumper to bumper there with Ryan Messer in the number 1. They come out of the corner. Everything looks A-okay up until Messer gets up on the outside wall. Look at that huge hit for the 46 car on that inside safer barrier protecting pit lane. That is a big hit, and you can see looking like a modified now, completely tearing up the front of that car. That's a tough break for the 46.
Yeah, that was kind of one of those short track racing deals, and you hate to see that something like that happen on the straightaway, and when it does, it happens big, as you could see. And now we got some cars. Looks like everyone is heading down pit road, and some early pit stops for these guys.
Working lap number 31, just about a third of the distance here, and every single one of these drivers on the lead lap going to come down and get some service of one type or another, whether it's fuel or tires. And Jeffrey Brown going to get the wave bike, rejoin the lead lap, and that's going to be a good opportunity for the 29 car to try and make up a little bit of track position. But you can see the drivers coming down to their pit stalls, and we'll see what these crews can do and whose crew can get their driver out front first.
Yeah, and that's going to be crucial as well, is getting your car out there before the next guy. As we've seen, that first part of the race is pretty hard to pass, but it's Ricker getting out before Kibbe, and we're going to see another duel on the next restart, just like we've seen from the beginning.
These Snaps drivers thundering off a pit road side by side, some of them even 3 wide there, and you can see Brown's going to be the driver that stayed out to get that wave around. Ricker comes out. Kibbe, Daddio, Glessner, and Boley are going to be the top 5. Roy gets a little bit of a bumpski, joins 7 spots forward. Zane moves up 7 spots. Check that. Roy's going to be up 4 spots. Farrell's up 7 spots, so it might be a 2-tire spot, or it may very well just be a really, really good pit stop for that 14 crew. But Ricker out front. Kibbe in second, Daddio, Glessner, Boley are the top 5 here as we're under caution on lap 33. Gives us a quick opportunity to talk about some friends. Speaking of real racing, Rent a Race Car. Good friends here with us here at Vidane TV and the network, and myself personally been hanging out with those guys and working on cars, or pretending to anyway, for about 11, 12 years. Very cool to see Alex Spinato, 3rd-generation race car driver. He is actually the son of Gary Spinato Jr., who's the son of Gary Spinato Sr., longtime racers in the street stock division at Stafford Motor Speedway. Going to be running full-time this year, but he needs a little bit of help. Alex is looking for some full-time sponsorship, or even a little bit of sponsorship. They've got the car about 3/4 of the way put together, still waiting on a couple of pieces, but they're looking for some sponsorship. They've got a lot of real estate on that race car, so if you're looking to get your brand or your local business out there, definitely no better way to do it than with a 3rd-generation racer. Get in touch with Gary Spinato Jr. on Facebook or the Rent a Race Car group, or even slide in our DMs. Vidane TV, we can point you in the right direction and make that happen. And getting ready to go green once again. Truck has the pace car lights off, and we're going green once again here on lap number 34. Call it lap 35 when we take the green flag and cross that stripe. And there you see it. We can pick up where we left off. A little side-by-side battle between Kibbe and Ricker.
Wow. Able to get that's the second start we've had, and both times Ricker has just been able to get, out of the gate pretty quick there. We know that the outside has really been working well for everyone, but Ricker is able to get
cars around.
Kibbe, and we got cars around. And so we're going to be stacking them up again, and Corey Casagrande's around.
You jinxed him. Talking about a long green flag run for that 7 CT car, and now he's pointed in the wrong direction. But we'll take a look at the U-House Racing Designs instant replay. It looks like there might have been a little bit of contact. If we can uh, get the tapes to not rewind the entire race, just want the wreck. And we'll take a look here, and it's a tough break. It doesn't look like anything he hit anything in that 7 CT car, but we'll pull it up. We'll take a peek, and we'll see what went down. Focus in there. You can see a little bit of a bump from DJ Gerard in the 3 car. Magnum Mike Hopkins rather in the 78 getting a little piece of the action, but it doesn't look like the damage is too bad on that 7 car. Missing that back TV panel, but it looks like he's going to spin the thing around, grab a gear, and drive away. Probably going to come down pit road, maybe get little duct tape put onto that car, maybe get that thing fixed up just a little bit, and he'll be down and away. Going to be tough, though. Going to have to start back in the tail end of the field.
Yeah, and it just looked like the slightest tap there, too, which I believe it was U-House that actually got into him, which is a driver that's been strong on the short tracks as well. I believe he has accumulated the 5th most points of any driver on the short tracks. So both of them are going to be starting from the back here, it looks like, based on the running order right now. Ryan Messer in the back of the lead lap as well, after that previous incident from the last caution. So, yeah, we got some drivers that have steadily moved their way up. Brent Roy up to 6th spot, and you mentioned it before. Zane Farrell had a great pit stop and is up to 7th, and he just seems to have a knack to be sort of up there in contention as the race goes on, even if he starts towards the back, and it seems to be that way again. Keith Lord running 8th, and then the Marhefka brothers currently rounding out the top 10.
And right outside that top 10, John Peters running in 11th. And we made mention of the challenge that's been put up by the NEPs Bets group and by Ryan Salvatore with RSAL TV. John Peters is going to start in the back. No matter where he qualifies, he's going to take an EOL for the remaining 4 races after this one. Every podium finish he gets, $50 gets donated to GNG's gift, and for every $100, or every win he gets, $100 gets donated, and that's going to be a lot of fun to watch here. John Peters coming into tonight with a 51-point lead over second place. Definitely a contender for the championship from the reigning and defending back-to-back series champion, and we're looking forward to carrying that action all the way throughout the end of the season here with Verdane TV, and we're even going to have ourselves a kind of an awards show after the season's done. Going to get everybody together, maybe put on some nice sports jackets over the t-shirts like we do here at Verdane TV. Talking about that a little bit before the show here. Kind of go over the racing season here with NEPs and where we can find all these drivers in the real racing world. We've made mention a time or two throughout the season here. Everybody in the NEPs series, for the most part, either drives a race car, works on a race car, they work on a track, potentially an announcer, track officials, some kind of connection with real racing, and it's a cool thing to see. So we'll be doing that award show, kind of figuring out where we can put eyes on these NEPs drivers during the real racing season. And one of the things just announced, well, not really quite announced, but SRX Racing announced a couple weeks ago they'll be back at Stafford. They just announced a little while ago, Biffle, Newman, Waltrip. They're going to be racing at Stafford Speedway July 2nd weekend. So's this guy. I'll be in the number 6 Rental Race Car Street Stock, and I'm really pumped up about it. But before we get there, we got 60 laps to go or so here at Bristol. Green flag flying one more time, and there's Ricker with that hole shot. Down on the bottom side, the 4 car going to try and tuck in his tire tracks.
Yeah, it's deja vu with Ricker up front. But look at Glessner able to get by Daddy out for 3rd on that restart. Glessner, we've seen him in contention for wins all season long. He's had some bad luck as the races have wound down throughout the season. Hopefully that doesn't happen again, and I'm not jinxing someone again. But currently running in a podium spot, Dale Glessner having a great run in that number 10. And I saw a little bit further back, John Peters, I think, was working his way into the top 10 here. Or maybe not. He's still battling with Charles Lewandowski here for 11th spot, and he's actually going to lose that position.
Going to drop back just a little bit, get a little contact. Oh, he gets bumped by Dylan Kopech in the 16 car. Another bump by Scott McDonald, the 12 car of RSAL. He's going to get his little spun. How about that? He stopped. He didn't even hit the cone. Look at that.
Yeah. Before that, Peters was quite the pinball, though. and
Oh, now
now
he's
he's
going
going
to
to
take
move
out
the
both cones.
guns a
There we
little
go.
bit around. There we go. And, now that car's looking a little bit more like a hatchback, but I'm sure they'll get that fixed. He stays on the lead lap, and we making another run toward the front when we go back to green.
Less than 50 laps, he was able to make it up into the top 10. We got a little bit less, a little bit more than 50 laps here before the checkered flag, so we'll see what John Peters is able to come up with in that 09 car. And we saw it happen live, but we're going to back up the tapes one more again just to take a look at it with the U-House Racing Designs instant replay, a little contact between the 09 and the 16 of Dylan Kopech, and really just hard racing here at Bristol. I've been noticing over the past few laps or so, it seems like the preferred line is kind of somewhere in the middle, almost like a shared line between the top and the bottom side. And if you're running single file, there's no problems. You're able to hold on to it, and you can kind of drift up the track as you need to and use the whole racetrack. But if you're running side by side, or if you're in a battle with somebody, there you see the contact. Sal gets a piece of it. McDonald gets a little piece of it as well. There's the 1381. Everybody else gets by scot-free. But if you're kind of running single file here, you're able to hold on to it. You're able to kind of utilize the entire track and make up any kind of positions that you need to. But if you're running side by side, it's kind of tough. And you'll see a lot of these drivers kind of slam doors or rub doors just a little bit, trying to make it happen between the top and the bottom side. But that's going to bring out caution flag number 3, just 2 laps shy of halfway.
Yeah, it's going to be down the stretch here. It could be a case of a few cases of going for the same real estate, as they sometimes call it. It kind of looked like that was the case for that. But what I thought was interesting was the back of John Peters' car already had a little bit of damage before the incident happened. So there had to have been some extracurricular activity going on, maybe before that last yellow or whatnot. But there you see that back bumper is missing now. But you know, we're at Bristol, so you don't necessarily need your car to look perfect and have the best downforce at a track like this as the field begins to double up once again. And I believe this time we're actually going to complete the halfway point.
100%, and as everybody's favorite slice of bread once said, that's just short track racing, and that's what we're doing here at Bristol. Just about to cross the line for halfway. I want to thank everybody for tuning in here to Verdane TV Live. It's NEPs night in America, the U-House Racing Design Showdown here at Bristol Motor Speedway. Showtime, Paul Strickland Jr., Aaron Creed with the call from the production shed, and we've seen some great racing, a lot of side-by-side action here at the last great Coliseum, and we're about to see another 50 laps of it here, getting ready to take the green flag for the restart. And again, story of the night, Ricker in the 9 car, Kibby in the 4, side-by-side on that front row. Let's see if Kibby's got anything for him. He's had a couple opportunities to see how that 9 car has been launching off of the start, and we'll see if he's been doing his homework, taking his notes here throughout the night as they come through the backstretch, heading into 3 and 4.
These yellow flag laps are something here at Bristol. It's almost like you got the suspense when they're coming down, because they have to run it at such a slower pace when they're under yellow at a track like this. But now the pace truck comes down pit road, and Ricker once again looks like he's going to get a good restart and stretch it out here into turn 1 and clear Kibby. Kibby's got a mirror full of Glessner now, but he's able to clear him as well, and got side by side once again for 4th between Boyer and Daddio, and Brent Roy running in 6th, the best we've seen him running so far this evening, and he's got his hands full with Zane Farrell.
And we made mention that's a trio of real steady drivers. Zane Farrell has the best average finish. You and I were talking before the show in that 14 car, really able to get up towards the front when it matters at the end of the race. And Evan Bollier in the 56, Brent Roy in the 26, the only 2 drivers to complete 100% of all of the laps here in Season 4 in the NEPs series. And that's looking pretty good right now. Cars look clean for the 56 and the 26. And it seems like everything kind of sorted out up here towards the front. Little conveyor belt action, little single file action. We got to go back all the way to the 22 car. A couple of more Hefkas back here battling side by side, and they've got Charles Lewandowski joining the mix in the 01 car.
Yeah, they're mixing it up here for a potential top 10 spot. Mark Hefka's currently inside the top 10. Now Lewandowski moving his way inside the top 10 as the yellow comes out for a 4th time.
81
like
car of Dan Winter looks like pointed in the wrong direction.
Dan Winter, an occasional competitor in the NEP schedule. We don't see him every single week, but he's had some good runs. But it looks like he's going to get into it here. Bring out this yellow.
Little battle here for the position between he and Scott McDonald in the 44 car, and that's where you see it. Couple of drivers trying to use that middle line, fighting for position. Their ship with the 48 car, nowhere to go. Unfortunately, gets a big hit with the 81 car, the Window World machine, but he's going to grab a gear. There's a lot of damage to that 81 car, so I feel like they're going to be on pit road for a little bit, trying to get that thing knocked out. And but what this does, it lines everybody up once again to try and give Kibbe another opportunity at the restart. And we've seen that Jason Ricker's been very, very good on the jump, trying to get out ahead of the field here on these restarts. And he's had a couple of opportunities to practice them, which is good news for the 9 car, but also bad news for him as well, because it gives everybody else an opportunity to try and see if they can put together some kind of pattern when the 9 car is launching on that restart. After the initial start, these drivers, as soon as that pace truck dips off pit road, they're able to go whenever they see fit. And sometimes you'll go at the same time, the same spot on the track. Sometimes you kind of mix it up, keep the field guessing. But with this caution, gives a couple of drivers an opportunity to come down pit road. Corey Casagrande, big time damage on that right side car. The 7CT going to get some damage repaired down on pit road. How about that pit sign there? It's got his name written in it looks like white crayon, I think. So that's it's pretty cool. We must have left a pit board down in New Smyrna last week. That must have been what happened.
Yeah, something like that. They had to spray paint it, or like you said, with crayon or something like that. But some of the back markers in the field coming in, make adjustments and see if they can make it their night a little bit better. Like Jeff Brown, who we saw a lap down earlier on, but he's working on improving. He's back on the lead lap now with all these yellows lately. And Brian Shipp was involved in that last yellow, but not too much damage on that car, so he's able to get back going. And he's a relative newcomer to NEP and staying out of trouble for the most part, and looking to get at least a top 20 run here in the end. But up front, like you said, I think Ricker is he's probably the least amount of a fan of all these yellows. Having to be near perfect on each of these restarts, but he's done a great job so far. Kenny Kibbe's been right there, but hasn't been able to do anything with him at first on these restarts. The only time he was able to was when we had that long green flag run. He was almost able to get to that lead until the first yellow flew.
Lights off in the iRacing pace truck. Going to be taking the green flag with 39 laps to go here in the U-House Racing Designs Shootout at Bristol Motor Speedway. Again, want to thank everybody for tuning in on YouTube and Facebook. Be sure to give us a like, a subscribe, a share, all that good stuff. Let your friends and family know you've been watching some iRacing action here with the NEPs League, New England, Pennsylvania iRacing Group, Shift Marketing and Design, Grand National Series. 9 car down on the bottom. Ricker, Kibbe up on the top side in the 4. Glessner's there, Daddy-O's there, Bollier's there, and we are racing. Once again, green flag flies, and there's a whole shot from Ricker. Slides up into the 1 spot. 4's going to tuck in his tire tracks. We're side by side for 3rd.
Yeah, Glessner again and Daddy-O. Daddy-O coming back on the outside this time, and Ricker seemed to bring him down just a little bit slower, and we got another collision on the second half of the field. One of them into that tire, into those water barrels.
Yeah, big bada boom for about 8, maybe 10 cars. And I believe up at Eastbound Park, they call those the stank barrels. Our buddy Mike James from up at Eastbound Park coined the phrase. Going to make it to a t-shirt there at Vanane Shop one of these days when I find some time to actually put that together. But gives us another opportunity again to take a look at the U-House Racing Designs instant replay. Little wide angle shot. We're going to do a little slow motion here as well because there was a lot going on in this particular caution flag. You can see everybody kind of jumbled up. There's John Peters in the 09 car back there after the earlier incident. Salvatore in the 12. 78 I know was involved here as well. Magnum Mike Hopkins. There you see Kopech in the 16. The 22 Marhefka's up in here. It looks like something broke on the 13 car, maybe a flat right front. and just that car just took a hard right-hand turn up into the 01 car. And as everybody tries to avoid calamity, it's one of those things here. We talked about it earlier on. The racing surface, the racing groove just gets blocked. There's nowhere to go. And you can see, look at the 09 of John Peters just easing on through there. 4, 5, 6 wide with wrecked race cars. I don't think John Peters hit anything.
No, I don't think he did either, but Hopkins wasn't as fortunate. It looked like he had it straight, and then, the thing about Bristol is once you get on that apron, though, and you're going a decent clip, that car is not going to remain under control, or it's even more difficult to. And let's see how Peters got through this.
Oh, did get a little piece of it. Yeah, you can
just
see
just a tiny bit.
Yeah. Woo-hoo-hoo. That's some car control right there.
And they were still wrecking there as he continued to have control.
Rejoins the back of the field, and a little bit of damage now in the front of the 09 car up to the 14th position. We'll see what he does here with pit road. Handful of drivers already down on pit road. The Winters machine, the 81. Libby coming back down, rejoining the field after some service to that. Brandon Marhefka in the 13. Dan Winter we already saw there. DJ Gerard in the 13 getting some damage done. Oh, look at that car. Another modified machine, the YRD 13 at New Hampshire. Getting that thing worked on. You see the 46 coming back down for a new windshield again. It's always good to have a sponsorship with Safe Flight Auto Repair. Like I said, though, I don't think they do Lexan windshields.
No, I don't think so. We could be wrong. Maybe they do, but but it doesn't seem to be a good evening to be a number 13 all of a sudden. So both Marhefka and Gerard having issues, and but. Someone like Libby, though, he's had his share of issues, but I believe he's back on the lead lap, though, and we saw he was in the top 10 earlier. So you never know. It's some of these kinds of yellows and staying out of trouble. Top 10 or top 5, those kinds of runs aren't out of the question, although we have seen, the top 5 that are in the top 5 at this moment have pretty much been in those spots this entire evening. So as long as they don't mix it up and get into some trouble, it's going to be tough to catch them since, they haven't really suffered any battle damage aside from, your usual short track racing battle damage. But once again, the lights are out on the pace car, and we're going to see yet another restart, see if Rickard can get ahead of Kibbe or Kibbe can do something with Rickard.
Going to be getting the restart here on lap number 69 as the iRacing pace truck dips on down to the safety of pit road. 9 and 4 up in the front row, 99 and 10 right in behind them. There's the jump from the 9 car, already going to be 3-4 car lengths ahead of that second place battle now. Kenny Kibbe caught sleeping just a little bit, dropping back. There you can see finally gets back up around the 99 car of Daddio, slides into the tire tracks of the 9 car. The battle now is between Bollier and Glessner for 4th.
Yeah, it looks like Bollier is going to be able to clear Glessner, and this is the furthest back Glessner's now been. He's going to try to cross over, but we haven't seen much success with that move so far tonight. And there you see one of the Marhefkas using the low line a little further back, trying to continue his way through the top 10, but Dylan Kopak in the top 10 for the first time tonight, using that high line, following Keith Lord through right there.
You can see trying to use the middle of the racetrack, not quite going up towards the wall, but not quite down on the bottom side. He's going to get around the 22 of Marhefka, and he's going to still keep going. You can see kind of diamonding the corner just a little bit on exit, but the 16 car of Dylan Kopak, he's up 10 spots from where he qualified, currently in the 9th position. So having a good solid run. There's a little bit of a wiggle of the 1 car, and kind of brings your attention to the 09. There he is back in 11th, right outside, knocking on the door of the top 10.
And how about U-House right behind Peters, following him up through the field as well? We've talked about U-House being able to be consistent on the short tracks this season, and as we continue to go further back in the field, Hopkins, Salvatore, some of these drivers that were involved in some mishaps earlier, trying to work their way back through. And Magnum Mike Hopkins, he's got his hands full. Scott McDonald's got his hands full. Ryan Libby's trying to march through the field. All kinds of comers and goers. And it seems like every single lap here, as you just saw there with Libby, who's had some momentum and then lost all of it.
One of the drivers to keep an eye on is going to be that 46 car, and he's showing his strength right now. Just got the wave by, got back on the lead lap, was able to come down pit road and get 4 tires, get a little bit of tape on the nose of that 46 car, and you can show right here, he's trying to get around the number 12 car of Ryan Salvatore, the stat man. Not quite enough steam to get down and around him, but that 46 car, a little bit quicker on new tires. You can see he's able to get down onto the bottom of the track. I think we're going to be seeing more of that 46 car a little bit shortly, but up front, still Ricker in the P1 position. The 4 car right on his back bumper there before they got to the corners, and you can see the 9 car better on entry, the 4 car a little bit better on exit, it looks like.
Yeah, definitely, and we were seeing what we saw during that long green flag run earlier now, once again, with Kibbe using that inside line and inching his way to the inside and potentially having an advantage. But what's going to be important, is once we get towards the end here is who's leading at the stripe. And so far it's been Ricker, but Kibbe's gotten awfully close when we saw them running side by side earlier on. And we're seeing it again where Kibbe's able to get a fender under Ricker and just a couple times here, and we're going to see, this is our longest green flag run we've had since what an awesome shot that is right there. Just watching as Kibbe, see how close he can get to Ricker here going through these corners. And the laps are clicking off. We're now at 20 laps to go next time by, and we're getting down to crunch time here.
Getting down to the nitty-gritty indeed. That 4 car giving it everything he's got to try and get up and around that number 9 of Jason Ricker, but he's been fast and strong all night long here at Bristol for the U-House Racing Design Showdown at Bristol Motor Speedway. 20 laps to go on the board here. You made mention, Aaron, longest green flag run so far. You can see that 4 car doing everything he can to try and break that lineup of the number 9 car, trying the high side, trying the low line, trying right up in the middle, trying in his tire tracks, doing everything he can to try and reel in that back bumper of the 9 car. When he gets there, do we see the bump?
You might when that white flag flies, you might. Maybe he might try to rattle his cage, as someone more popular said years ago at Bristol Motor Speedway. And but Kibbe's got to be on his toes, though, because Daddy-O is right there on his tail. And once again, like we saw earlier on, it's a 3-car race, and the yellow is out again.
And this could get interesting with 17 laps to go. Gives these drivers another opportunity to potentially come down, get some tires, and maybe get up towards the front just a little bit. But we're going to take a look at the U-House Racing Designs instant replay. And it looks like there's a little bit of contact between the 1 and the 16. Ryan Messer, Dylan Kopech. Messer shoots down on the apron. Kopech up on the wall, close to the wall or so. A little bit too close to the wall. Gets up there, slaps the outside wall on the start-finish line, comes back down, and kind of uses the 1 car of Ryan Messer to keep himself straight, but unfortunately that sends the 1 down into the inside safety barrier. Lots of damage on the driver's side door on that car.
Yeah, nowhere for Messer to go. Unfortunate as he was part of the first yellow that came out after running in the top 10, and then he was battling back again into the top 10 there, and now he's going to have to do it all over again, potentially, as most likely, if they all come down pit road, he's going to have some damage to pick. And it looks like, we got some drivers faking each other out here on pit road, and some missed that opportunity. And I don't know what I think Corey Cascarani might have got his lap back. Saw him speeding ahead of everyone, but a few of these guys thought they were pitting, but it looks like they're just passing through.
Some of the drivers looks like they might have gotten faked out. Some of the drivers going to try a little thing or two. Looks like about half the field potentially coming down pit road here. We got Ryan Messer, Brandon Newhouse, John Peters, Champ, Ryan Salvatore, Brandon Newhouse, Scott McDonald, Brian Ship, Jeff Brown, and Brandon Marhefka down on pit road still from a long extended working on that race car. So gives these guys an opportunity. 14 laps to go. If you're in the second half of the field, why not try slapping some tires on? Maybe get a little track position, try and drive up through these top 10 guys.
Yeah, absolutely. It was kind of, up front, it was a little bit of the monkey see, monkey do kind of thing. If Ricker would have gone down pit road, I would have probably been willing to wager that most of the other drivers were going to do the same. Although, looks like some of them are kind of fading towards the apron again here under yellow, but maybe it's just because of those cleanup crew trucks that are, making sure that this track surface after Dylan Kopech slapping the wall there is safe. But now we're going too wide, And once again, it's going to be Ricker and Kibbe, Daddy-O and Bullier, and now Glessner and Roy in row number 3.
Yeah, those two Ironman drivers, the 56 to 26, Bullier and Roy up in the top 6 here at the U-House Racing Design Showdown at Bristol Motor Speedway. We made mention a couple of times here tonight and at the top of the show, Bullier and Roy, the only two drivers to complete all 100% of the laps here so far this season, and doing pretty good. Looks like they're going to be able to extend that particular feat here, but we still do have 12 laps to go. Anything can happen in the NEPs League. Anything can happen here on Verdane TV. We've seen that happen and more, but we're going to get this restart, looks like, with 11 laps to go. Lights are off in the iRacing pace truck. Everybody lined up 2 by 2, and the story of the night, Ricker versus Kibbe up on the front row on these restarts. And for the restart, or the initial start, the 5 restarts, each and every single time, the winner's been the 9 car. So we'll see what goes on. We'll see if Kibbe's learned a thing or two. We'll see if he can get up and around that 9 car, or we're going to see if Ricker keeps doing that whole shot. There goes the pace truck. He's on the safety of pit road. We're going to wait. There we go. Green flag racing the 10 car. Wanted to go early. Didn't quite get there. We're still side by side, though. Ricker didn't quite get the jump that he's been able to get on Libby. Libby holding tough on the high side, trying to make the magic happen.
Yeah, that strategy may not have worked out. They kind of brought it down very slow that time compared to the past times, and it's looks like it might not work out for him. As here comes Kibbe, and here comes Bullier. He goes a little wide there and uses up as much of the track as he could, it seemed like. And now here we see he's trying to push Kibbe to the lead, and we've got our first lead change of the race. And Ricker is now just trying to get into a position to salvage a podium spot as Daddy-O's right there, and we got trouble again in the second half of the field.
Bullier letting everybody know that you're going to say his name right tonight, moving up to second, showing he's got a bad, fast car here with less than 10 laps to go, but the caution flag going to fly. Once again, multi-car incident gives us again an opportunity to pull up the U-House Racing Designs instant replay a little bit further on back in the pack, it looks like, and it actually looks like there might have been a couple of different incidences here that could have brought this thing out, but we'll take a look at it here on the U-House Race Design instant replay. You can see jumbled up cars all the way throughout the field. See if we can find where the incident happens. There it is. 46 car gets a little piece of the wall and then a little piece of some of the guys in the field here. So lots of bumper car actions with less than 10 laps to go here at Bristol. Looks like Scott McDonald going to be able to drive away from that okay. A couple of drivers picking up a little bit of damage, but we're going to get it all sorted out here. Probably get the restart, about 5 laps to go.
Yeah, and it's going to be quite a dash to the finish here. Hopefully we can see 5 laps under green, but we've seen it here lately where if you just catch just a little bit of that outside wall, it's almost a catastrophe right there, and others get swept up in your miscalculation here at Bristol Motor Speedway. But we're going to see a different kind of a restart here, as I believe they're going to double up this time by. But instead of it being Ricker and Kibbe on the front row, it's going to be Kibbe and Bullier. And now Ricker's going to try to get back up there by restarting in third. He was just inches ahead of Daddy-O at the time that yellow flag came out. So lucky break maybe, although we haven't really seen the inside line work out too well under green flag conditions. So he's going to have his hands full keeping Daddy-O behind him. So a lot of things that we're going to see how they work out here in this final stretch of the race.
Scott McDonald, Corey Casagrande, Brandon Newhouse, and Devin Marhefka all coming down pit road on this caution to try and slap some tires on this thing, maybe make up a little bit of track position here with less than 5 to go. Lights still on top of the iRacing pace truck. Looks like we'll get this restart with about 3 laps to go or so. And this is going to be interesting here on the 7th caution of the night. New front row, you made mention, Kibbe now, the point, on the point. The 56 of Evan Bullier, we saw just how strong that 56 car was just before that caution flag came out, going up around the high side, making that car high, wide, and handsome, and trying to make a little magic happen. And looked like he might have tried to take the lead if that caution flag didn't come out. So I think that we're going to be focusing in on that 56 car in a big way with these final handful of laps here. Ricker, after leading the entire race, he's going to restart in third. Daddio there in fourth. Glessner and Roy going to be the row in behind them. And oh look, who joined the top 10? John Peters in that number 09 car, restarting. Second car, or the car on the outside in that fifth row, back in the 10th position. 4 laps to go. We'll see if he's got enough time and enough car left to get up towards the front.
Yeah, we'll just have to see. And how about Mike Hopkins running in ninth as well? Having a good top 10 run at this moment. And I think we're going to get one more lap, and we're heading back to green. We're going to have a 3-lap dash to the finish. Kibbe and Bollier. And Bollier, I have a feeling he might be going all out here on the outside here as we get ready to go. Green flag racing once again. Kibbe bringing them down slowly. And he is going to get the edge here to begin with as we go back to green. Ricker trying to clear Daddio for third. Bollier really hanging on the inside now. And he gets a fender ahead of Kibbe.
Gets a fender, uses the door just a little bit. He's going to move into the lead, sliding the 4-car all the way back. 2 laps to go, wrecking in the top 10 or so. We stay greenish. Caution flag comes out. We're getting a green-white checkered finish.
Oh boy, and Zane Farrell was one of the drivers involved. We talked about him being there at the end, and now he's got a handful of trouble here. Like that started around 5th or 6th spot. That ended up occurring, and you know who I think got through that? Mr. John Peters.
I believe you're right, because he's being scored in at that 6th position right now in that 09 car, so that's going to be fun to watch here as we get a green-white checkered. But we're going to take a look once again. A little far wide angle shot. We'll slow it down here as well. Going to focus in. Where is that 14 car? There you see him up in front of the 09 of John Peters. And there's a little 3-wide battle almost for second place. Looking. Where's the wreck? Looks like the 14 comes down just a little bit. Gets into Lord in the 17 car. They try and save it. 14 bounces off the outside wall. Bounces off the 17 again. Bounces out the outside wall again. There's Dylan Kopech. Nowhere to go. Wham! Into the 14 car. That the next car in line, that's going to be the 01 of Lewandowski again. Nowhere to go there. And we made mention, once these drivers wreck up on the high side, the cars kind of come down in the bottom and block the racing groove. Corey Casagrande getting a piece. Scott McDonald getting a piece. There you see Marhefka in the 22 gets down and around. Winters does a great job slamming on the brakes, trying to get that thing stopped. The 3, he gets a little tap of it. There's Ryan Messer. He's just going to stop. He's going to let those guys sort it out and get back to racing once again. So that's some heads-up driving there for the Messer machine. But what this does, Aaron, it sets us up for a little green-white checkered action. We saw a couple of really good restarts here. We've seen Ricker lead many of these restarts, almost the entire first part of this race. He's going to be restarting now in second. Bollier holding on to the point. Daddio, Kibbe, and Roy the top 5. And we made mention the 09 car of John Peters going to restart in 6th. And we talked about it a little bit earlier on. RSAL TV, Ryan Salvatore putting down the NEPs challenge for the remaining 5 races. John Peters going to start at the end of the longest line because he's got so much of a points lead, 51 points to be exact, coming into tonight's race over second place. Every time that 09 car finishes on the podium, RSAL TV is going to donate $50 to GNG's gift. And every time that 09 car visits victory lane here in the final 5 races after starting in the back of the pack, $100 will get donated to GNG's gift, courtesy of RSAL TV. So a little bit of extra oomph for the 09 car, and doing a great job after starting in the tail end of the pack this here tonight. Been involved in a couple of wrecks, a couple of incidences on track, but still up in the top 10, currently rocking P6. And taking a quick peek here at the field, we're lined up. We're 2x2. Still got about a lap and a half to go here. So lights are on top of the iRacing pace truck. So that gives us an opportunity here. Aaron, who's your pick? Who's winning this race?
It's going to be tough because, as you can see, Bollier picked the outside line, which he's been strong on, while Ricker picked the inside line, where we've seen he's been very strong this entire race from restarting on the inside. So it's going to be a dead heat potentially here for that top spot. John Peters, you can't count him out either. Now up to 6th position. Dale Glessner's has fallen to 8th, and I actually noticed that in that skirmish that he actually pancaked the wall after getting just tapped and keeping on going during that incident. So going to see if he's just going to be able to try to salvage that car. As you can see, it's a little bent up. But here we go. They get a little bunched up there on the restart. Bollier is the one that has the command, though, to fire off first, and he's going to. Ricker's right there within striking distance, but it looks like Bollier is going to be able to pull away by a car length, come into the white flag.
White flag, white rag in the air. Evan Bollier holding on to it, has 2 wins on the season, trying to make it win number 3. He's got a battle in behind him, side by side, between Ricker, between Daddio. All he's got to do is nail corners 3 and 4, come across the start-finish line. Barney and the flag man with the thumbs-up checkered flag. Evan Bollier coming home with the win here at Bristol Motor Speedway for the U-House Racing Design Showdown. And that right there, friends, is going to be win number 3 for that 56 car. That's going to be the driver P2 in points. There's a little congratulatory bumpski there from Jason Ricker, who led a lot of laps here tonight. Ricker going to come home in second. Steve Daddio in third. Kenny Kibbe fourth. And how about that? The champ, reigning, defending, 2-time champ, John Peters going to round out the top 5.
Yeah, Peters, despite all the troubles he had there in the first half of the race trying to march through the field, stays out of trouble, and it's actually a good points night, I guess you can call it, for him. Brent Roy around, Dale Glessner, Mike Hopkins, Pete Lord, and Ryan Salvatore rounding out the top 10, peeking in there at the end of the night.
Scott McDonald in the 44 car having a couple of incidents here tonight, but he's going to come home with an 11th place finish. Devin Marhefka finishes in 12th. We saw Ryan Messer get caught up in an incident or two, finishes 13th. Zane with a big, not a huge recovery, ran up towards the top 10, towards the top 5 earlier on, but late race incident bumped him back to 14th. Dylan Kopech back in 15th. Charles Lewandowski, Corey Casagrande, Brandon Uhouse going to be rounding out the top 18 drivers. And we'll turn the page. There we go. Live TV. Love it when it works. Brandon Uhouse finishes 18th. Ryan Ship 19th. Jeffrey Brown going to round out the top 20. And that's going to be the drivers finishing on the lead lap. Dan Winter, DJ Gerard, Ryan Libby, Brandon Marhefka, and Kyle Casagrande finishing multiple laps down there. But 25 cars here at Bristol. And they were all chasing this number 56 car of Evan Bollier. How about that? Another win in the W column for that 56 crew. We're going to talk to these top 3 drivers once we get a hold of them. Looks like they're already partying.
No, I bet they are. Here at Bristol, Evans doing some donuts and everything. And, wow. Thrilling race right there. 100 laps at Bristol went by like that, despite all the yellows that we did have. But great finish to that one. A great green-white checker. And, yeah, I'm excited to bring these guys in and have a chat with them.
100%. And the driver of the number 56 car gonna make sure that everybody knows how the hell to say his name. Evan Bollier coming home with win number 3 on the season. Evan, great run. Phenomenal couple of restarts there towards the end of the race, man. Talk to us. What's going through your mind?
Yeah, well, the first run of the race, I really used up the tires and really paid for it. Couldn't really make up any ground. Qualified not great, but so that last run there, I was really trying to conserve and save. And once we had that, must have been the second to last restart when Kibbe got the lead, I was right there, and I knew I had better tires. So, or at least I felt I did. And that next restart, I knew what I had to do, and went in there and took the lead.
100%. And just taking a look at the final standings here, 229 Autosports taking 3 of the top 5 spots here. With Jason Ricker dominating the early part of the race here. What was the mindset getting into it? The 9 car's strong. You see him up front, really dominating those restarts. Were you kind of studying off your teammates at all? Was it anything you guys kind of worked out earlier on, or was it just kind of hammer down and see if we can get this thing up to the front?
Well, we always, throughout practice, we all kind of share notes and work together really well. All at 229, we work really well together, and I think luckily we've been getting some really good results out of it too. Great teammates. We like I said, we work really well together, and it shows. So it was awesome to see Ricker up there for a lot of that race. Him and Kibbe were putting on a really, really good race. I was watching a lot of it, and I'll go back and watch the replay. It was a lot of fun to watch from my seat. But yeah, like I said, I knew that on that last restart that I had the outside and had to go and do what we had to do.
100%. And we made mention a couple of times. John Peters starting in the back, made his way all the way back up to 5th here to finish up. So a little bit of a good points day. Able to gain a couple of points coming into tonight's second in the point standings. But one of the cool things to see here is the streak continues. One of 2 drivers to complete all 100% of the laps so far this season between you and Brent Roy, who finished here 6th on the lead lap. So that's one of the cool things here, showing that 56
Wow.
crew very, very consistent.
Well, that's awesome to hear. I honestly didn't realize that, Paul. That's a cool stat. I take a lot of pride in that, and just want to make sure that we're always out there. You know, we've been a number of laps down before, like the Oxford 250. I was 2 laps down at one point, so you know, to run all the laps, that's pretty awesome.
Absolutely, and we got to thank the stat man, Ryan Salvatore from RSal TV,
Yeah,
providing us with that. Old Sal. But we want to give you an opportunity here, Evan, to thank everybody that makes it happen here for you for the virtual 56 team. Let everybody know who makes it happen for Evan Bollier.
Well, I appreciate that, Paul. I appreciate it.
Got the sticky note right here.
That's awesome. That TikTok was not directed towards you.
I know.
You provided some great content. Yeah, I got to thank the great guys at 229 Autosport. Like you were mentioning, John's been starting at the rear. I really wish he was starting at the front with us. I have a lot of fun racing with John. I know not a lot of other people do, but you know, if you want to be the best, you want to beat the best, and so I always want to run with him at the front. But yeah, I got to thank all the great sponsors here: Hancock Lumber, Restorations Home Remodeling, Sunday Morning Farm, EJ Drywall, Bollier Construction, LB Cleaning Co., Nitro Designs, Ames Oil, 4 Seasons Synthetic, and yeah, can't wait for next week. This has been a lot of fun.
100%. Great run here tonight. Phenomenal finish and showing at the 56 car championship caliber. Great run here tonight.
Hey, appreciate it, guys. Thank you for all you guys do.
100%. And we're going to slide it down a little bit further down pit road, catching up with the fella that dominated most of the first part of this race. Aaron, you've caught up with Jason Ricker.
Yeah, Jason, runner-up finish, came so close to that victory here at Bristol, and restarts seemed to be the key right there. And you had that, you were on point with those restarts most of the way, but take us through what happened down the stretch.
Yeah, we made a slight miscalculation, got confident. All them restarts starting on the bottom were working out for me, and the tires were pretty worn, so we tried starting in second gear and just didn't get the launch that I needed to clear Kibby getting down into 1 and 2 like I had been earlier in the race. So just a miscalculation. Still real happy to the way the race turned out. Yeah,
all in all, pretty good run, and second place finish. And your 229 teammate ended up getting the lead there down the stretch. So I'm sure a little bit of a bittersweet result for you, but at the same time, probably pretty satisfied that you were able to run second to your teammate.
Yeah, definitely bittersweet. I mean, to dominate the race like I did and then to end up second kind of stings a little, but to lose to one of my teammates is a little small consolation to that. Really glad whenever I see Evan, Brent, John, we all really try to work together as much as we can and make things happen. So it's a give and take world.
Yeah, for sure. And just let us know who helped you get here for this second place finish and your best performance of the year overall.
Got to give a huge shout out to Max Cookson Racing. Max has been tutoring me at practice sessions and stuff, and really helped me get through this race tonight. Without him, this wouldn't have been possible.
That's your runner-up finisher. Got a lot of TV time tonight. Jason Ricker in second place.
Absolutely. Thanks, we're going to catch back up with the third place driver a little bit further on down pit road. Driver, the 99, Steve Daddio, started exactly where he finished exactly where he started. Steve, talk to us, man. Great run. P3 here tonight at Bristol.
Hey, thanks, Paul. I don't know. Yeah, that's exactly. That's Bristol. I thought if we had a little bit of a longer run, I probably could have. I was saving a little bit, and then in that first run, I caught up to him, and I was just kind of hanging. I think if it went a little more green, I probably would have had more of an advantage. I thought I was one of the fastest cars on the track when we were on older tires. But when you bunch up like that, it just, I mean, you saw it. It was just yellow after yellow after yellow. When they get the momentum back up, it kind of makes it hard to pass in the restart if you're on the low line. And I got caught down there a bunch of times. But at the end, I drove But I drove it as hard as I could in that last restart. Easy enough for me to say. And I came home third, and I couldn't be happier. Honestly, if I got stuck in the back, probably wrecked out. So.
100%. And a good points night here as well. Coming in fourth in the point standings, right behind Zane Farrell. My math isn't very good, but it looks like 11 points gained on Zaney here tonight in that third position here. We made mention Zane was doing pretty well earlier on, got caught up in a late race wreck, and unfortunately slid on back and finished 14th, but he came home in third. So that is a good points night by any stretch of the imaginations for sure, and a great race here at Bristol as well. Want to give you an opportunity, though. Thank anybody that makes it happen here for the Daddy-O's Racing number 99 car.
As usual, everybody at home. It's so fun having them watch. And my mom was all pumped. She likes Bristol a lot. She was phoning. My father was away tonight at some work thing, so she had the at the controller tonight. So thanks for watching, Mom, and my wife as usual. It's very cool that they enjoy it too. And Brookview. Heavy equipment repair, Daddy-O's TC facility. Always cool to have them on the car. Like I said, growing up, big supporters, and Brookview gave me my first ride. So cool to get them a podium finish here at Bristol.
100%. And on to the final four races of the season. We look forward to seeing that 99 car in victory lane at least one more time.
Yeah, let's hope, right?
100%. But that's Steve Daddy-O finishing P3 here tonight, the U-House Racing Design Showdown at Bristol Motor Speedway. Aaron, it's been one heck of a race. Had a little bit of calamity there in the second half, but all in all, pretty phenomenal race.
Oh, yeah, some good racing there. And how about that charge for the lead there, those last couple laps, and then that restart before it? We saw some jockeying for positions for sure. Everyone was hungry to get that win here at Bristol. But Evan Bollier getting that third win of this NEP season, and just edging out Jason Ricker there. You have to feel a little bit bad for Jason having that lead for most of that show, and almost on his way to his first win of the season. But that's the way the ball bounces, as they say, especially somewhere here like Bristol.
100%. Big time shout out to U-House Racing Designs for sponsoring this event here this evening, as well as the U-House Racing Design Instant Replay here on Verdane TV with all of our leagues and all of our shows here that we do live on Verdane TV. Check them out on Facebook. Do a quick search for U-House Racing Designs. Lots of iRacing paint schemes, button boxes, all sorts of neat knickknacks that you can hook up to the computer and make the iRacing experience just a little bit more realistic. Evan Bollier coming home with the win here tonight. Jason Ricker, Steve Daddy-O, Kenny Kibbe, John Peters, the top five for the showdown here. The U-House Racing Design Showdown at Bristol Motor Speedway. 4 races remain. John Peters still holding on to a hefty point lead. We made mention for the remaining races. He's going to be starting in the back of the pack to try and kind of shake the points up just a little bit, but it didn't seem to work tonight because he still came home with the top 5 in that 09 machine. But we made mention every time that John Peters machine finishes on the podium, our Sal TV going to donate $50 towards the GNG's gift. And every time the 09 car comes home in victory lane, that's 100 cool ones into the pot towards GNG's gift. And if you're not sure what that is, do a quick search on Facebook. Hashtag Racing for GNG. You'll know what we're talking about 100%. Want to thank everybody for tuning in here tonight on Verdane TV. NEPs Night in America will be back next Tuesday night for RBR Maritime Group. They've got 2 races left in their 6-pack challenge, and they've got one heck of a points battle to do as well. Wednesday night, Tim's Corner Live finally returns after a couple of weeks off. Last week, Timmy was on the road. Last night, I was out at a wrestling event. Could not do the show live, so we'll be back next Wednesday with Tim's Corner Live, and next Thursday night, NEPs Night in America, once again, going to be racing live here on Verdane TV. But from down here in the Verdane TV production shed, Showtime, Paul Strickland Jr., Aaron, Aaron Creed, tuning out, and we're going to go grab maybe a beer ski or 2 from the Bristol bar. I'm sure there's a bar here somewhere at Bristol. There's got to be. It's Tennessee. We'll catch you on the flip side. When we do, we are going to be doing it live.